Grab your drinks and preheat your ovens. It's time for Chuckin Muffins. And today we're going to be talking about Tony DeAngelo and the New York Rangers. He's been placed on waivers after having a locker room interaction with a teammate who has been revealed to be Alexander Georgiev. Ethan, what are your thoughts here?
I don't know, man. The situation's kind of shot, to say the least, I guess. We're going to bring them up some tweets from Elliot Friedman up on the screen now. We're going to show you guys. So this the account that posted, it's Puck Report. Follow them on Instagram, Twitter. They're awesome. They tweet out any news that happens in the NHL, so I could give them a follow. So we got here Elliot Friedman on the New York Ranger incident. Before the goal, Georgiev and DeAngelo have a mix-up behind the net. Crosby scores, Pittsburgh wins. This was the overtime game that took place a couple nights ago. They go off the ice. Georgiev's sitting disappointed. DeAngelo walks by, makes a sarcastic crack. Georgiev clocks him. They go at it. Teammates break it up. And this is from Elliot Friedman. So it's one of the most reliable sources in the NHL. We have more here later. That's the last straw. You're going on waivers tomorrow. I'm guessing that was someone in the Rangers management telling that DeAngelo. There's so many rumors. His history probably makes a lot of them seem believable, but I was cautioned to be careful. There are a number of things out there that are not true or half-truths. And I know you've heard a lot about these like false rumors, like all these burner accounts that he has, like disrespecting Keandre Miller, a lot of that we've heard. Just like, what do you think like is true and what isn't true from like all this?
Okay, so first off, this needs to be said. We talked about this before the podcast started. There are rumors going around that he was being very disrespectful to Keandre Miller, and I think some sources saying he was saying, like racist things to him almost. Keandre Miller's agent refuted that, so that's not true.
The thing with the his like first puck when he his first goal when he scored, like how DeAngelo took the puck, gave it to the trainers, kept it from him, which is just that's just disrespectful. But it turned out not to be true, so
right,
we got to clear some of that stuff up because there's a lot of rumors, a lot of incorrect rumors floating.
Yeah, like I saw a thing saying that he said a racist remark to Keandre Miller. That's a really big allegation to make, which turned out to be false. So,
like how old is DeAngelo? It's like what, 23,
25, 24? I think
25. So he's a man. He knows, you can't say stuff like that, especially to Keandre Miller.
Especially if you're a professional athlete.
Yeah, you're a professional athlete. People look up to you. People want to be you, not necessarily him, but you just can't act like that. It turns out he didn't act like that. He did act like that previously in his NHL or hockey career, which makes these rumors seem believable, but they're not true from what we've heard so far, and that's everything that's out right now. We still have 2 more slides here to go over, so I don't want to say anything as absolute because things can always change, but I don't think anyone expects that DeAngelo will play for the New York Rangers again, which I don't want to say you called, but you called he was not going to play. Like, what exactly did you say again? Do you remember?
Said he's not going to be on the New York Rangers by the end of the season.
Oh, yeah, that worked out pretty well. And last slide, if DeAngelo doesn't get traded, they'll try to trade him. If they can't trade him, here come the questions. Do you want him with your prospects in the AHL? Do you want him around the team on the taxi squad? I think it's most likely he's sent home and he waits it out. My personal opinion, I don't think he plays in the AHL. I don't think he's on taxi squad either. I think it's going to be he's going to go home. That he can't be around the organization anymore.
He had a historical year. Like he was the first defenseman on the Rangers since like Brian Leach to have a scoring pace like that. He had 50 points in 63 games. I forgot the specific numbers. But here's the huge fucking hole the Rangers are in now. He's too good to be in the AHL or the taxi squad. You can't just not play him. You can't play him in the AHL because he's way too good to be there, and that's we're letting our prospects grow there. Can't trade him because no one wants him because he's being a locker room cancer, and that means just as much as anything, team chemistry. So that's not going to work out. And then we can't buy him out of his contract because that we already have $13 million. Dead cap space. So if we buy out Tony DeAngelo, I don't even want to know what the penalty is because I know that's going to make us have nearly $14 to $15 million in dead cap for the 2020 to 2021 season. So we are pretty much in the biggest fucking hole that I can imagine right now.
Yeah. I don't know what the solution is to this problem. I don't know if he just ends up you come to an agreement or you just terminate his contract. I don't know if that's what happens. But if I'm the Rangers organization, I'm the GM, I don't want him anywhere near my prospects. Like, that's just me. I don't want him in the AHL. I don't want him around the team. If he just calls an altercation with one of my players, I don't want that. And what I've heard, Gorgiev's like one of the most like polite, like the nicest Ranger out there. That's just from what I've heard. Did you hear anything about that? Like how Gorgiev is or anything like on those lines? I've heard he's like a great guy. Like, and it's like surprising that
no complaints about him.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
There's a rumor going around, and this is believable because for those that don't know, Chris Kreider speaks like 5 fucking languages like fluently, like Russian being one of them. So he's one, that's why he's usually on a line with Pavel Buchnevich. But 2, that also means he's very close with the Russian players. Like that's like a thing that he's always been cool with them. So obviously Georgiev being Russian, this is again a rumor. I don't know how true this is, but there's a rumor going around that Kreider and Georgiev are, like really close friends, and then DeAngelo got in his face about it, and then Kreider punched DeAngelo. But then in a post-game interview, you could see discoloration in Kreider's knuckles. Actually, you kind of see it in mine too. I didn't get into a fight. I said horrible. You could see discoloration in his knuckles, and he seems upset. So that's not even like a horrible thing for me to think about. Like,
I'm pretty sure that came out that wasn't true. And you want to know what I heard? I heard Keandre Miller broke it up. That's what I heard. I forgot where I saw that, but I saw Keandre Miller broke it up. So that's what he was involved in that whole thing. Huh.
What am I missing here? Why am I on Cat Friendly, and why does it say Capo Caco and Keandre Miller on the taxi squad?
They could have just sent him down for salary cap reasons. I'm sure they'll be back up. I don't think that's anything to be really concerned about. At least I'd hope.
Fucking please, dude.
David Quinn. Yeah, you're not doing good.
Speaking of, all right, so I don't know if our 5 concurrent viewers noticed, but every podcast I have a different background here. This is going to be my background until David Quinn is fired and Gerard Gallant is the new head coach of the New York Rangers.
I never liked David Quinn. When they brought him in, he had no NHL coaching experience. Where'd he come from? Did he come from junior? Boston College. So he came from Boston College. Was he successful? I don't want to say anything that's, not true, but he had no, from my knowledge, he had no prior NHL experience. So they were bringing him in first time NHL head coach. It's to a team that was rebuilding. I mean, it's a tall task to be the head coach of a rebuilding team with such a bright future that just isn't there yet. So you have to tap into the potential of all these young players. It's not like you're being the head coach of like Washington, a team like that's already established to have their veterans who are going to perform. As a coach, you need to untap the potentials like a Buchnevich, a Lafreniere, a Keandre Miller. You got to work with them to develop their game. And I don't want to say he hasn't been doing that, but I don't know if he was the right pick, having no NHL experience to come in like that. A guy that has NHL experience, who's been there before, who's been fired multiple times for just the stupidest reasons, Gerard Gallant.
I couldn't even tell you why the fuck he was fired from Vegas. I really couldn't.
I don't know why he was fired from Vegas because I don't know. And they brought in the Sharks head coach.
They hate keeping people around for 3 or more years.
That's it's got to be. If you're there for 3 or more, you're gone. Bye. But I don't know.
Because Quinn had this team going really well by the end of last season.
No, they were one of the hottest teams in the league.
Exactly, but now I don't know what it is. He's making horrible decisions. He has Jack Johnson shouldn't be on this team, let alone getting as much ice time as he is. Okay, we need to have guys like Lafreniere, Kakko, and Hedl was getting a lot of ice time, but Lafreniere and Kakko need to be getting more
top
ice
6 minutes.
Exactly.
Top 6 minutes. Buchnevich needs to be in there.
He changes the lineup every game. Like there's no way you're going to gel with your line because it's different guys every single week. And he has Brett Howden. He plays a lot more minutes than Kakko does and Lafreniere for reasons unknown. Howden's not really doing anything.
Maybe he's just filling in for Hedl right now, playing second line center, because I don't think Laf's a center. I don't think Kakko can play center either. So maybe that's why he's playing more.
That's the thing. It was happening before Hedl even got hurt.
Oh, it was? Then I have no idea. Oh, you have Zibanejad and Strome too. So that should be your top 2 centers, right?
It is, but Hedl was probably the best center we had before he got hurt.
Oh, really?
He was playing the best. I mean, yeah. No, he was playing really good.
I don't want to say I called it or anything, but Mika Zibanejad is really not having that hot start season.
No, he's doing bad. Everyone's playing bad except for the bread man. Buchnevich is doing pretty good. Lemieux is playing his heart out. Keandre Miller.
I like Lemieux. He's such a good role player.
Miller, Fox. I like them. Everyone else needs to step it up.
All right. If you guys don't say you guys fired David Quinn, what other coaches would you like to see the Rangers look at potentially to hire?
To be honest, I don't even know the coaching free agency pool, so let's look, shall we?
You know a name that little far fetched who might slightly get an opportunity here if David Quinn goes. Mike Babcock.
Yeah, I was just looking. Mike Babcock's one of them.
Who else is out there?
Bruce Boudreau is one of them.
Bruce Boudreau, he's a known. He's like AV. He's just a known playoff choker. I don't like Bruce Boudreau.
You know what I realized? If the Rangers don't get Gallant, Seattle's coming in. Like Seattle's coming into the league next season, right?
I think gonna be like Gallant. I feel like he might go to Seattle.
He brought an expansion team to the Stanley Cup final their first year. Why not bring him in for Seattle?
Right. I know one coach, Todd Reardon. He was the Caps old head coach. He's out there, but I didn't like him at all. I thought he was a horrible coach. I wouldn't pursue him at all if I'm the Rangers. I don't know. Anyone else catch your eye or no?
The best names I could see right now are Babcock and Gallant, and I guess Boudreau. Maybe not though. And I don't know if we wait all the way till next season. I'm pretty sure. Wait, how old is this article? 2020. Yeah, so Rod Brendamore's contract ends next season. Let's get Brendamore.
I don't think he's going anywhere.
No, he's not. He's staying in Carolina.
No chance. That guy's just built for Carolina. Who else we got here? Yeah, Babcock, Mikey Yo, maybe.
All I'm saying is there are several options that are better than the current situation.
Oh yeah, 100%. So, anything else you want to add before we move on from the New York Rangers?
No.
All right, so we're now going to move on to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Was it over the weekend or I forgot when it happened, but Jim Rutherford, out of the blue, resigns from GM of the Pittsburgh Penguins. What's your initial thoughts on all this going down?
We've been saying this for a while that he needs to go. He needs to go. Like he's been making the shittiest fucking moves. Like the fact that he didn't know he was losing money on the Hornqvist trade just astonishes me. Like you're an NHL GM, you should be aware of every aspect of any move you make. And then someone goes, "How do you feel that you're losing money?" Like, "Oh wait, I didn't realize that's not very good." No, is it? Like, fuck, dude.
Oh boy. So from what I've heard, the reason was that he resigned was the Penguins and Rutherford didn't see eye to eye in the direction that the team wanted to go in. So I'm guessing maybe the Penguins want to, or maybe it could be either or. Maybe the Penguins want to stay competitive. Maybe Rutherford wanted to rebuild. Maybe Penguins wanted to rebuild. Maybe Rutherford wanted to stay competitive. You really just don't know entirely. From one thing we do know is before Rutherford resigned, he was working on a trade to acquire Vince Dunn from the St. Louis Blues. And for the return, we don't know. So what do you think a return could have been on a Vince Dunn trade to Pittsburgh?
Some player has to be in there somewhere. Like a contract has to be in there because Pittsburgh has only $100K in cap space. St. Louis has no money. So Vince Dunn, who's making like 1.125, I want to say, sent over to Pittsburgh. Maybe they sent over fucking
Jared McCann.
I was literally looking at McCann. That's the only name that was coming to mind, to be honest, is McCann, age 24, RFA by the end of his deal. That maybe picks somewhere in there because I wouldn't do that straight up.
I feel like I think Dunn's better than McCann.
I was gonna say, yeah, Vince Dunn's value is a bit higher.
He's a decent, I'd say, fringe top 4 defenseman at this point in his career, but I don't think he's really getting the chance with the Blues to, actually play in the top 4 because they got Krug, Parayko, Falk's even in there, I think. Marco Scandell's in there, Gunnarsson. So, no, he would get a chance to play in the top 4. Bortuzzo's hurt right now. So I don't know why Vince Dunn doesn't want to stay in St. Louis. I don't really know what's going on there. Have you heard anything or
no?
Why he wants moved?
His name's been in trades since like last season, I think, because they almost didn't want to pay him.
Maybe the ice time isn't there. I'm not really sure what the exact reason is, but
the thing with that is though, because Pittsburgh was looking for a defenseman to come in after what's his face got hurt, Matheson.
Everyone's hurt on that Pittsburgh blue line. Have you seen how many people are out? I think they've used 11 defensemen in the past 9 days.
Yeah, but you know who came in and he's actually looking really good is Pierre-Olivier Joseph.
Oh, yeah, he's a young kid. He's one of like the 3 prospects the Penguins actually have.
No, he actually looks pretty good. He was playing the Rangers. He had like 2 assists against them, which against the Rangers, so not that hard to do. But
he's getting an opportunity to play.
No, I think they're giving him like top 4 minutes right now.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's look at this right now. So, do you want to hear the Penguins' defensive core at the moment of who's actually not hurt? Okay, so the number 1 is John Marino, Cody Ceci, Pierre-Olivier Joseph, Kevin Kazuman, never heard of him, Yannick Weber, and Chad Rodwell.
Oh, yeah, I forgot Letang's out. I keep forgetting that.
Yeah, Letang's out, Dumoulin's out, Matheson's out, Pettersson's out. Like, Jesus Christ. I don't think – I called this in the beginning of the year. I think you called it too. I don't think Pittsburgh's making the playoffs. Don't think it's happening.
I don't have it. No.
There's just too good of teams in the East that just are way better than Pittsburgh. And I just don't think they stand a chance, especially with all these injuries. And the goaltending just not looking too hot. I don't know. I feel like ever since Fleury kind of left Pittsburgh, their goaltending's just been a little wonky. Like Murray's really good in the playoffs, but he's really inconsistent. Jari was good last season. Now he's inconsistent through the past like 7 games. Casey DeSmith's, I don't think really given too much of an NHL opportunity, so I really can't say anything about him yet. But I don't know. I don't think things are looking too good in Pittsburgh. But for a GM, for the Pittsburgh Penguins, they've been in talks with a few guys. Off the top of my head, I know Tom Fitzgerald's one of them. You know who else I heard might be in talks? Kevin Weeks. They might interview him for the Penguins GM spot. You know who Kevin Weeks is, right?
The name sounds familiar. I don't know why.
The old goalie. He's on NHL Network. Kevin Weeks.
Yeah.
Him. Okay. They might interview him. Do you remember when the Coyotes looking for a GM? Do you remember who they were going to interview?
It was someone weird, right? Like,
wasn't it? It was.
Who was it?
It's like the most weirdest person in the hockey world.
Who?
Pierre McGuire.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was fucking Pierre. It was Pierre.
Dude, imagine Pittsburgh looks at Pierre McGuire. You know how funny that would be?
No one's gonna want to stay there because he just gets uncomfortably close to all of them, like when speaking to them.
Yeah, working on contract negotiations, like, hey, Sydney, how much money you want?
I feel like Sidney's gonna retire by the end of his deal. I feel like that was a bad joke to make, Ethan.
No, I don't even know what contract Crosby's on. No, Crosby's 33. How many years he has left? Like 4, 5?
5.
Yeah, I'll still be cooking. No way. So yeah, that's basically it with Pittsburgh. Hopefully they find a GM soon. They said within the next 2 to 3 weeks they should have someone in mind and in the process of hiring them. So. That's about all the Pittsburgh Penguin talk we have for this episode. Moving on, we're going to talk about the Ottawa Senators. The Ottawa Senators. So the Ottawa Senators, actually, they started out the season with a win. They won their first game of the season. That was also the last win they've had this season. They are 0-7-1 since that first win. What's wrong with Ottawa? We expected them to be bad, but not this bad. Like, what do you think's the problem here?
I mean, they have no star power up front. They got Dadonov, who without help isn't really much. They got Stepan, who has not found his way in Ottawa, I don't think.
No, say the least.
The young kids look better than the older guys, to be honest with you. Like fucking Stutzel, Norris, Kachuk, and those are the best ones I can name. They all look better than everyone up front. I'm
going to read off some point totals from the Ottawa Senators so far. So their leading scorer is Brady Kachuk, 7 points, 3 goals, 4 assists in 9 games. -4. He also has 18 penalty minutes as well. So
impressive.
Second leading scorer is Josh Norris. 6 points, 2 goals, 4 assists. Good for him. Upcoming player, Sharks prospect, former. Can you guys see their leading defenseman? Their new scorer defenseman is?
Just based on the fact that you're asking me, I'm assuming it's not Shabbat.
It's not Shabbat.
I'm gonna take a huge shot in the dark here.
Okay.
Like I need you to understand. This is like a shot in the dark.
Okay.
Braden Coburn.
It's not Braden Coburn.
It's not Erica Branson. If it's Erica Branson, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Dude, nah. I gotta take another stat after this. But it's Nikita Zaitsev. 5 points in 9 games. But do you want okay. So at the moment, Erica Branson has 2 points, 2 assists in 9 games. That is the same amount as Tim Stutzel and Derek Stepan.
Yeah.
And more than Artem Anisimov, Alex Galchenyuk, and everyone else on that crap team.
I'll defend Stutzel on that one. He's 19 years old. He's in a horrible system.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming over from he's German, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, let me look at Matt Murray's stats here, who they traded for, by the way.
Do we even want to look at Matt Murray's stats?
7 games played, 1 win, but his stats, he has a 4.82 goals against average, almost 5, and a save percentage of .849.
What about what's his face? Berube's not Berube, Hogeberg's stats. They any better?
Let's look, shall we?
Oh boy.
So we got 4 games played, 0 wins, a 4.71 goals against average, and an 8.45 save percentage.
Dude, they have an average goals against average of 4.7, 5. And they have an average save percentage of 8.47. Yeah, 8.47. That is horrible. That is so bad. And also a funny stat about this team, just one sec. They have 1 player who's played more than 1 game who is a plus player. And it's Nick Paul. I don't know with Ottawa, man. I don't know. I expect them to be a little bit. Oh my God! Guess how many minutes Erica Branson's playing tonight over there?
How many?
He's averaging above 20 minutes.
Huh? I mean, I know they have Shabbat and Zaitsev.
Yeah, they're both above him, but he's the third. He's the.
He has an A. He has a leadership role. He has an A.
Well, that doesn't necessarily surprise me too much. He seems like there's not a lot of older players there. He's I guess a locker room leader. I don't know. Jesus Christ, man. Look at Stutzel. Stutzel's playing 13 minutes. That's not a lot.
Good Branson went 3rd overall.
I do remember when Branson went 3rd overall. Terrible.
I
don't know, man.
When 3rd overall was Heiskanen, I think.
Probably. Yeah, I'd say so.
Let's just say those 2 weren't very comparable.
Austin Watson's tied for the leading goal scorer.
Okay, so you see the problem here then, because they just don't have anyone
anyone
for real. How much does Dadonov have?
Goals or points?
Points.
He's got 3 points in 9 games.
Okay.
They're horrible, man. They're in the North Division. They're obviously the worst team, but no one expected them to be this bad. What? Let's look at their power play and stuff. Check this out. Okay, so we'll look at goals for first. So goals for, they have actually surprisingly not a terrible amount of goals. Where is it? They're not at the bottom. They got 22 goals, which is 11th worst. Not horrible. Oh, goals against though. Oh boy. So they have 44 goals against, which is the most in the league, obviously. Goals for per game. I don't think it'll be too horrible. 2.44, not too bad. Goals against per game. It is 1 whole goal higher than the second to worst team. They're at 4.89, and the Sharks are at 3.88. Oh my God, that is so bad. So power play. Minnesota has a 5.1 power play percentage. Oh, okay. Where is Ottawa?
Was it Melnick or Dorian that said we're going to be trading a lot at the deadline, but we're going to be buyers?
Probably Melnick.
Yeah,
Eugene
I'm
Melnick.
going to just go ahead and just get that thought out of your head now there, Eugene. I'm going to go ahead and you just trade everyone you can. Stock up on draft picks. They have 1 first-round pick. They got 2 second-rounders. I would go for a few first-round picks. I don't know what you're going to send over. Like, obviously, like, you should, like, keep players like Shabbat, Kachuk, the young kids.
Yeah, but like anyone that doesn't have value and isn't a long-term solution to this problem, say like a Stepan, an Austin Watson, even
Bro, get rid of
Anisimov. Yeah, even trade Dadonov. How many years did he get? 3, 2,
3.
3. Jesus, Dadonov. Why did you sign there, buddy? But I don't know, man. Like, well, what do you think they do? Like, can they fix this problem now, or is this just a long-term issue that they got to deal with?
Definitely not now. Like, think about it. You got your best players are young, like the young players. Mm-hmm. You don't really have anyone that's like the only players that should be looked at keeping long term are Batherson, Kachuk, Norris, Stutzel, Shabbat. I guess you want to make the argument for Colin White. Yeah.
He's been a scratch though.
Exactly. Like yeah, and they're paying a lot.
He's making big money too. He's making I think 4.7 for the next couple of years. Like that's a good amount of freaking money. And I don't know. I like this guy's name, Artem Zub. He played his first game with the Senators a couple of nights ago. He had an assist in his first game, so good for him. Maybe he can turn into something. He came over from the KHL.
But the thing is, they need to take their prospects, grow the shit out of them. I know they got Brandstrom in the system.
They got a couple other guys down there too.
They got Grieg, who they just got in this year's draft. But I think
got Sanderson down there too.
Sanderson, right? So just load up on draft picks and just, keep preparing for the future because this team right now isn't going to be going anywhere.
That's what I would do. Like, it's not looking too hot right now. Like, they got some decent prospects. They got Logan Brown down there, Jonathan Davidson, Alex Formenton, Jack Opaka. Like, they got some decent guys. Even like Lassie Thompson, he's pretty good too. They have Philip Gustafson. They got a goalie down there if Matt Murray doesn't pan out. So they have what they need for the future. They just don't have it now. And do you think maybe they look at like a coaching change? Maybe they look at getting rid of DJ Smith, you think, or just ride him out?
Kind of hard to tell. The team itself just isn't very good. It's kind of hard to blame the coach like that. Where there's a team that has a roster full of stars and up-and-coming talent, such as, I don't know, say the New York Rangers, where
they're just horrible.
Losing is inexcusable like this much, then yeah, that's a head coaching change. However, if you have a team like this, it's kind of hard to pin that on the coach right now. So
I look at like Detroit. Like you never hear anything about Detroit's coach, being under question. Who's Detroit's coach? Is it Jeff Blash? Nah, I gotta figure that. Nah, hold up.
No, you got it right. It's Jeff Blashill.
Is it? Okay, so it's Jeff Blashill. I was right. So you never hear anything about him. You never hear Yzerman getting questioned about his job. And Detroit's, they're not there yet. Detroit's not there yet. They have what they need for the future, but they're just not here yet. So that could be a similar situation with Ottawa where they just ride out DJ Smith. I don't think Pierre Dorian's that terrible of a GM. I really don't. I just think the owner is just an absolute moron.
Who'd you compare to last time you brought him up?
We're going to bring this up again? Okay. I compared him to Adolf Hitler. That is who I compared Melnick to. It was obviously a joke. Don't want to take that the wrong way, but I don't know. Ottawa's got to figure their shit out. And will it come soon? I'd say no, honestly. So moving on from that, the final thing I think we're going to talk about in this podcast, I think it's the final thing. Yeah, the final thing we're going to talk about this podcast is some trade requests. So we got one trade request and another one. So we're going to talk about one first. So Victor Mete of the Montreal Canadiens has been has reportedly requested a trade from the Montreal Canadiens. He's been a scratch multiple times this season already. I don't think he's played yet. I could be wrong on that, but hasn't played. I think he's an NHL defenseman at this point in his career. I think he can be in the lineup. I think he can play in an NHL lineup in somewhere else. Montreal's kind of got a revamped blue line, so they added some pieces, so they might not have really room for him anymore. They got Romanov in there too, so I kind of see where they're coming from with not playing him, but I think there's potential there. And so Mete wants out of Montreal, and Bergman was having none of it. Bergman was, I don't know what the exact quote was, but he just kind of denied the trade allegation or the trade requests, and he just said he's not trading him, which truthfully makes sense because what's Mete's value right now? Next to nothing.
Pretty much.
A young defenseman that's not playing in the NHL.
He's a weird case where like he actually could flourish if he's put in the right situation.
I think so, yeah.
Maybe a team that just lost like a top 4 defender, maybe. Like I don't know,
Pittsburgh.
say the New York Rangers. No, I'm just saying. But Pittsburgh, yeah, no, Pittsburgh could use him.
There's a lot of teams that could use a young defenseman. Like any team could use. Is he a left-hander? Or is he right? I think he's a lefty. So most teams could use either side defenseman. So, who do you think could go after Mete? Like besides teams we just named.
Well, he's super cheap, so like a lot of teams that could use a defenseman. But before we look at that, like think about it, because they don't need him. Like they really don't. Because they got Weber, Petrie, Edmondson, Chirac, Kulak, and Romanov. All those players in Montreal at least are playing better than Mete. Because Kulak, I know, is having a really good season so far.
Oh, Brett Kulak's been good. I heard they're going to take Kulak out of the lineup, though, to put in Mete. But I heard it was just, nothing against Kulak. They just want to get Mete some games, get him in the lineup. But
so let me look at this real quick. So teams that could trade for Mete that can afford him that need defense. Do you think it would be a team that – no, because he's only 22. You know, it could be a team that is looking to get someone that's going to stay. Yeah. So pretty much anybody can go after Mete right now.
You know who would be a pretty damn good fit for Mete? The Boston Bruins. He'll get ice time.
Yeah, that's not bad.
They'll probably end up giving him a shot in top 4. He's definitely going to play top 6 if they trade him there. And Boston definitely has assets to give up. They can throw Montreal a second-round pick. Is Mete worth more than that at this point? I don't think so. I think he's worth less, if anything.
Mm-mm.
It could just be a swap for a forward, maybe. Maybe they throw in, I don't know, who's Boston got? I don't even know. Maybe like an Andre Kasha, but that seems like a little too much value for me. I'm making that deal.
I wouldn't get rid of Kasha for that.
That's what I'm saying. No, Kasha's got good value. I like Kasha. He's just always hurt. He's like one of the most injury-prone players in the NHL. So I'd say maybe Boston would work. Pittsburgh would probably work too. I don't know what Pittsburgh would give up. Pittsburgh was already looking at adding defense when they looked at Vince Dunn. So maybe they look at Mete. I've heard they already have. Pittsburgh, what do you think they give up? Do you think it's just like a draft pick trade for Mete? Or like what do you think?
Well, Pittsburgh is one of the only teams that can't really afford him without giving up someone.
So maybe we see like one of their like death guys, like a Teddy Bluger, maybe go back in return. Something like that, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, there's not much they can really give up. They're the highest value guy, like like I said, like they could pretty much only give up like depth players at this point.
Yeah, it makes sense, but maybe like if the Rangers go after him, they need another defenseman now. What do you think they could give up?
Fucking, I've been saying this for so long. Brett Howden needs to go.
Brett Howden. You think of Brett Howden for Mete straight swap?
That's the thing, though. I think Howden's age and everything, he still has value, so we can get something more for him.
Mm-hmm.
But he's just not. He's not developing. He hasn't gotten any better, like significantly at least.
I think Howden. Yeah, I agree. I think Howden has more value than Mete, so maybe you'd have to be Mete and third for Howden, something like that, or maybe it's just not Howden in the deal. Maybe it's like one of the depth guys in the range. Maybe like even a Gauthier. Maybe he can go the other way for Mete. I don't know how likely that is.
I'd rather have Gauthier than Howden.
So at this point, we really don't know what could happen here, but Mete has he's requested a trade. So we'll see what happens on that front. I think it's most likely that he stays for the upcoming future because he has no value. He's got to get games to build up his stock. Then maybe we can see him flip at the deadline or something, maybe just before. But we'll see what happens. He's an RFA. He's not going anywhere anytime soon. So moving on to another RFA that has requested a trade, we have Sam Bennett. But there's a big but here. But he hasn't requested a trade. Yeah, I know. So what happened was, whatchamacallit? So Sam Bennett's agent allegedly said that he wants a change of scenery, but like he never like addressed it to the Calgary Flames organization. He kind of just said it somewhere. I'm not sure where, but he said it. And Elliot Friedman reported it. And it kind of angered the Flames a little bit. Like I kind of understand that. Like if a report gets out about a player wanting a change of scenery and he comes out through the media rather than going to the team first, that can anger a team, right?
Oh yeah.
So, so the trade request, I mean, it would make sense, the trade request, if you think about it. Bennett's been playing on says here he's been playing on the third to fourth line most of the time this year, while other players have given a shot in the top six. That I think Bennett's probably better than like a Dominic Simone, Josh Levo, or even Dylan Dubé. So the trade request does make sense. I understand why the Flames are pissed off about it. I don't know. If Bennett does get dealt here, to where and for what?
That's kind of hard to predict. I mean, he can play center or winger. It doesn't, he's an overall forward, but I don't know, because he's only 24, so he kind of does have some value, but he's got 1 point in the past 5 games.
Yeah, not too hot.
But again, it could be a scenario where he's just not being used properly. It could be a team that needs some center depth. That's pretty up in the air. Like literally anyone that could just use some center help.
I got 2 teams in mind here. I got Minnesota Wild.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one.
Columbus Blue Jackets. Both teams that could use centers that would actually give them ice time if they needed it. Bennett would get top 6 ice time. He'd get a shot at top 6 ice time in Minnesota, and I'm pretty sure the same thing for Columbus too, because they just lost Dubois. They really don't have a first line center, if I'm speaking here. They got Domi and Roslovic. That's about really it for what they got center. They got Texier, but I'm pretty sure he's on the wing. But it wouldn't surprise me to see Bennett move. I think it's honestly the right move in his career. It really just hasn't worked out in Calgary. He got taken 3rd overall years ago. Really, he had a good rookie season, but after that, he really just never tapped into his NHL potential. Maybe we see a move here. He gets traded from the team, and maybe he hits it off. Maybe he could finally develop into that 3rd overall pick that everyone expected him to be. Do you think if he gets moved, he could become the 3rd overall pick that everyone thought he would be? What do you think? He's 25.
Yeah, that's kind of.
He said now. Do you think he performs better than what he's doing now if he gets moved?
Yeah, I can see it.
I'd say that too. If he tapped into that potential, I don't know about that. He'd have to be given like the perfect situation. He'd have to be on a line with like Fiala and Kaprizov, or like Line A and fucking like Atkinson or some shit like that. He'd have to be given like the perfect opportunity to succeed. And will he? I have no idea, because he's not getting with Calgary. So the only thing that he's got going for him is that he's an awesome playoff performer. He's just plays way different in the playoffs, because none of the Flames ever show up in the playoffs, so it looks fantastic. So, yeah, that's basically it on Sam Bennett, and that's actually kind of it on this podcast here for today.
Thank you guys so much for watching today's podcast. Make sure you check out our previous podcasts, and make sure to look out for future podcasts and watch our clips, and make sure to follow us on Twitter at Chuckin Muffins.
Don't forget to subscribe, leave a like on this video, turn on bell notifications. You get notified every time we upload. And thank you so much for watching, guys. Peace out.